DJ here with Strength Depot, and in this video, we're going to be covering 3 options to help you get your home gym started. We're going to go through entry-level, intermediate, and advanced level options based on equipment and cost. All of the options will include the following equipment: the NEXO squat stand, a barbell, bumper plates, a bench press, as well as 5 to 25 pound dumbbells and 5-pound increments that you can get in the pink or black, as well as loop bands. We will build upon that base, and I'll offer variations in consideration for space constraints as well as cost savings. You can find all of the equipment in this video at strengthdepot.com, and I'll provide links down below in the description. We're going to start off with our entry-level option, which includes all of the base equipment I mentioned earlier. So entry-level option, I'm not really saying entry-level is your skill level. It's actually based on kind of the entry-level equipment you would want to start your home gym, kind of the basics, the fundamental equipment that you would need to have a quality home gym. And so that's what we're going with right here for the entry level. And again, it is the squat stand, the barbell, 160 pounds and bumper plates, a flat bench, the 5 to 25 pound dumbbells, and the bands. That's our like baseline equipment to have some really good workouts and give us some great variations to change it up regularly. The package that we have right here on our website is the SS1 Starter Garage Package. Go with that package instead of trying to piece out all the equipment differently, because that's going to include the squat rack with the spotter arms as well as the J-cups, whereas if you just buy the squat rack, the barbell, and the bumpers separately, it's not going to include the spotter arms and the J-cups, so you're going to have to get those separately, which is going to increase the price. Some items for cost consideration here would be only picking the dumbbells that you actually need. So if you're never going to use 5-pound dumbbells, like I typically might just warm up with 5-pound dumbbells, doing some shoulder movements just to get my rotator cuffs warmed up. I don't typically use 5s for any actual working set. So what I would do is I would just take a 5-pound plate or a 10-pound plate that I have and kind of do those exercises. So we can just pull out the dumbbells that we don't need regularly and kind of figure something else out there. And so that's going to help us drive the cost down. And that's kind of the same thing for the band. So it's 6 bands here. If you don't need the larger bands, then don't buy them. They are great, the larger bands. I will say the black and the purple one. The main thing I would use them for is for pull-up assisted movements, and then some occasional like squatting accessory work to kind of really work on like the top end of a movement. Other than that, I'm going to use some other type of equipment. The lower end bands are great for band resisted exercises like a bench, or using dumbbells if you're doing dumbbell press band. And then you can just do all kinds of exercises by themselves with the bands as well, and using those as your main piece of equipment. But again, kind of pick and choose the pieces that you need. If you want to have all of them, great. If you don't need them, fantastic. Another option here is scratching all of the dumbbells and instead going with a loadable dumbbell instead. And so what that's going to do is that's going to drop our cost around 29, 30 bucks, I believe, but it's going to get us 50 pounds per hand instead of only 25 pounds per hand. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go with a loadable 2-inch right here, 2-inch sleeve instead of the 1-inch sleeve. So then all of the weight on our dumbbell can also be applied to our barbell. And so now our overall barbell weight is going to go up as well. And so you can get these rubber bumpers, but just think these are only 2.5 pounds. So this right here is 30 pounds. And as you can see, it's approaching the end of the sleeve. So we have to be careful with that. But the nice thing is for accidental drops or injury and you just need to let go of the weight, these are going to be our safer option. If you have a hardwood floor or tile flooring, they're not going to damage the floor when an accident happens unless you hit the end of the sleeve right here. And so that's one of the really big benefits to the rubber bumpers. Just think though, you're not going to really be able to add a ton of weight. About 50 is going to be the max you're ever going to be able to load onto there safely. Another option for this is going to be the steel Olympic plates that we have right here. So this is 5s and 2.5s right here. So this is actually 50 right here. But if you drop this one, there's no room for error. It's going to damage your floor. Even if you have like a thinner 1/4 inch mat, rubber mat, it's probably still going to go through there, and it could cause some damage to wood, definite damage to tile or travertine or any type of stone flooring that you might have. So this is going to be our least safe option. So you're going to want to make sure you have some good thick mattings, potentially out in the garage or something like that if you're going to be dropping these. But one of the trade-offs is that you're going to be able to load this up. This is 50. I could probably load that up to 75, 80 pounds, and I'm still not going to be having the clamp as far out on the sleeve as that would with only like 30, 25, 30 pounds. So just a note there. Another option for that would be a urethane covered steel plate. It's still going to take up a little bit more room than on the bar than just a steel one, but it's going to provide just a little bit of protection. Not as much protection as the rubber ones, but at least it's something. So this is a happy middle ground. You're probably only going to be able to add about 60-ish pounds onto each dumbbell with these. So just kind of keep that in mind. But again, all three of these can still be added to your barbell over here, increasing the overall weight there without having to buy additional weight to stack on. If you already have bands, a lot of people bought bands during COVID. Great. That means you can scrap the bands, and now you can opt for kettlebells here. And so you can get a 20-pound kettlebell or a 22-pound kettlebell, and you're still going to be able to get about 3 bands for the same $1,200. Or you can scrap all of them, and you can go with a 40-pound kettlebell, and that's going to offset the price of all 6 of your bands, about $79.99 for each of them. And so those are your options for our entry-level home gym setup. Moving on to our intermediate level option. For this option, we're still going to start with our base equipment, everything that we had in our entry level equipment, and then we're going to build onto that foundation. So what I have here is I have 3 attachments, a adjustable bench, and then we're going to include some kettlebells with this one. So for the attachments, what I have is the row or jammer arm that connects to the base of your squat stand. And so it can pivot this way and then it can pivot that way. So it gives you additional variations of exercises to kind of work back and shoulders and legs and different movements there. And so this is a really great option. You can just include that with your SS1 garage starter package. It's a little button on there that you can kind of click to add it, as well as the band pegs. These things seem really simple, but they are tremendous on changing up our already foundational exercises. So what you do here is you can kind of put these at the base of your squat stand all the way through like that, and then you can wrap the bands around that and then wrap the bands around your barbell. And what the bands do is they provide that variable resistance, because as you stretch the band, the tension increases. And so when you're doing a traditional bench press or squat, as you come up to the end range of motion, it's a little bit easier from here than here. And so what we can do is we can add the bands onto each side. And so now as we're pressing up, it's actually becoming tougher and tougher as we get to the top of that movement, and it's providing a little bit of a different stimulus for the chest or muscle being worked. And so that's a really great option to kind of vary an already foundational exercise. So we're going with the band pegs. And then lastly, for the attachments, we're going to go with the dip bars. And so these are 2 separate ones. And so what they do is they just attach right on right here at any level you want. So you can do dips with these. You can also do some core, just kind of holding, pulling the legs up, do different things like that. As well as if you raise them a little higher, what you can do is you can kind of get in that seated L position and do pull-ups just like that and hold. And so you got all kinds of different exercises you can do with these aside from just your plain old dips. Next, we're going to go into the adjustable bench. And so with the adjustable bench, again, you're going to have a lot more options here. And so this bench is an incline bench right here. And so we can set it up there. It can go all the way up as well, so you can easily do shoulder presses. And then it can also come down and be your decline bench. You can do some abs work on it, different things like that. So that's a great option. Last thing we're adding to the intermediate level option is going to be 2 kettlebells. So we have a 22 and 40-pound kettlebell that we're going to add. Gives you another great range of options. You can get some good flows, fantastic warm-ups, some solid back work. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with kettlebells. You just have to check that and kind of figure out what you can do with them to really change up your workout. For our final option, the advanced level option, we're pulling out all the stops here. For this one, we're kind of going with the same base, but I'm changing up the product you're going to find on our website. This is going to be a secret product that the folks over at ACHV Peak got us or convinced us to set up for them. And it's going to be the ACHV Peak package that you can find. I'll provide a link. You won't be able to find that on our website. You'll have to use the link down in the description. But this package, the base package here, is going to get you 85 pounds of bumper plates, 25s, 10s, 5s, 2.5s, the bar, the squat rack or squat stand, the spotter arms, and the J cups, and then we will kind of build off of that. So what we're going to include in addition to that is still going to be the band pegs, the T-bar row. Actually, with the package too, it comes with an abs mat and a jump rope. So that's included with that package. So we're doing the band pegs, the T-bar row. We're actually going to include extra 45-pound bumpers and extra 35-pound bumpers. So that, with just those bumpers, gets us to about 245. But with this one, we're also going to include the loadable dumbbells as well as the hex dumbbells. So now what we're going to be able to do is we're going to strip off the weight from our hex dumbbells at 70 pounds. We can put it on our bar. So now that'll allow us to max at that cool 315 mark. And so with the 315, I know it's not as pretty as having the 345s, the 3 Cadillacs on each side, but your muscles don't know what kind of weight you got stacked out there. If it's 345s or if it's a boatload of other weights, all it knows is that it's getting a good workout in. So let's just focus on that. So with this, like I said, it's going to come with the loadable dumbbells up to 100 pounds, so 50 pounds each hand. You're going to get the hex dumbbells. So what this allows you to do with both of them is not have to change the weights so often with the loadables, because if you didn't have the hex ones, if you're kind of trying to do like a superset with bicep curls and maybe some shoulder presses or biceps and triceps, you're gonna have to be switching weights often. And so that kind of stinks when you're using the loadable. So we're really just gonna focus on the loadables when we're doing a heavier lift that requires anything over 25. Anything under 25, we can just use our hex, and it allows us to rapidly switch without having to add and remove weight. Also with this, we're still going with the kettlebells, the 22-pound kettlebell and the 40-pound kettlebell. So you're gonna get all of this right here for right around that $2,200 mark. And that is going to give you one heck of a home gym setup right out of the gates with that advanced level option. Again, like I said, all of these options are kind of scalable. And so you can remove products, add products as need to fit your cost constraints or your needs, your space constraints, all that type of good stuff. Our squat stand that we have here, the reason I went for this as our base for the squat stand is because it's fully modular. And so what we can do is we can start with the squat stand, which is kind of our base level piece of equipment right here, but then it can grow with us. You don't have to get rid of this one to buy a power rack or a half rack. This squat stand right here, all you have to do is buy the extra pieces, and then you can convert it to the half rack so the weights can sit on the back. You can convert it to a double half rack so you can work on the front and the back side of this. It can be a power rack where you can work inside of it, and then we can even add on some extra bars into a 4x6 setup too. So the 4x6 power rack as well. And that's all from this base one. So what a lot of people kind of mess up in the beginning and do is they buy the cheapest power rack or squat rack they can find. But then when they're ready to grow, now they have to take that money they spent, toss it out the door, try to resell it, and then buy what they wanted, you know, a long time ago. And so what this one does, it allows you to kind of grow into that as you grow and, you know, change with your wants and needs. Everything we have here today, you can find at strengthdepot.com. And again, I will provide everything down in the descriptions, links, overviews, all kinds of good stuff. I'll kind of put the cost there too, so you can kind of go down there and check it out. And if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to us. We'll provide our email down there as well. See you guys.